Rick rolled. That means start the video over. Okay, go ahead. Famous image. Famous. Go ahead. So, on August 15th, Japan surrendered with one condition, that Emperor Hirohito be allowed to remain on the throne. We said unconditional surrender, though. So what do? What? I can't hear you. Did we? Did we dethrone him? No. Even though we said unconditional surrender, we didn't change that one condition. We allowed that one condition.
So during World War II, a lot of bombers and stuff were thinking about bombing like the emperor where they lived and stuff, the palace, but America said no because they know Japan would never forgive them for that, and they would
never
surrender.
Never surrender. They would never surrender. That if you kill the emperor, who is to them a god, they won't surrender. And so we do let him remain on the throne, because if we didn't, they wouldn't stop. They would never have stopped. So we let him stay on the throne. Go ahead. Wait. Various causes and consequences of mass atrocities in the period from 1900 to the present. Go ahead. Okay. To deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. Nelson Mandela. What country is that? South Africa. The struggle for human rights, life, no slavery, political rights, religious and cultural freedom, right to assemble, represents an enduring issue since 1900. The struggle included catastrophic failures, including genocide and ethnic cleansing. The first genocide of the 20th century occurred in the Ottoman Empire during the Great War. The Ottoman government accused Christian Armenians, a minority in the empire, of cooperating with Russia, the Ottoman enemy. Can you make that go away? Armenia. Where's Armenia? Is it here?
Yeah.
Or it's here, right?
Yeah.
Right? Armenia is up there. So Turkey has a genocide. By the way, the first one was like 1898. There's another one in 1915. And then there's another one after that, like I think in the 1920s. And what do the Turks today say about the genocide in Armenia?
They deserve.
What genocide? What genocide? What do the Turks say? What genocide? We don't know what you're talking about. We don't know what you're talking about. Denying it. Just like now, some people still deny what? The Holocaust. The people still deny the Holocaust. So the Armenian genocide, put it down please. Armenian genocide, Armenian genocide, Armenian genocide. The reason why it's so critical is that Armenia is how big of a country? It's little. And it is a Christian country. Armenia, the Armenian church is Christian. It's probably much more like Eastern Orthodox, but it's a Christian country. And they killed a high percentage of the Armenian people. And so that's why it's considered genocide, that percentage-wise, it's a high percentage. I don't know what the percent is. Wait, go back. We must go back to an older time if we want to appreciate what uncontrolled Turkish rule meant to Armenians. It did not mean religious persecution. It meant unutterable contempt. They were dogs and pigs, to be spat upon if their shadow darkened a Turk, to be outraged, to be the mats to which he wiped the mud from his feet. It was the inevitable result of centuries of slavery. Remember the Slavs? Centuries in which nothing that belonged to the Armenian, neither his property, his house, his life, his person, nor his family, was sacred or safe from violence. Capricious, unprovoked violence to resist meant death. So if you remember, the same thing is going to happen in the Holocaust. What are the Nazis going to say about the Jews? Judenrat. Judenrat, which equals, they described them as rats, as vermin. The Japanese are going to do the same thing with all of the other people that are not Japanese. They always dehumanize them and call them something else before committing atrocities. Ottomans deported Armenians from the empire. Up to 1.5 million died of starvation, disease, exposure to elements, executions. So the Turks actually sent them into exile toward the desert. They exiled the Armenians. They made them leave and sent them into the exile. And then they released their own prisoners if they promised to do what? To go into that desert and do what? Kill them. To go in there and to slaughter and to kill them. And so they're like, oh, cool, sure. They literally exiled them, but then sent killers after them to exterminate them. Go ahead. Countries which officially recognize the events as genocide. Isn't that crazy? What is that? That's India, so is that Pakistan? Pakistan and Turkey deny the Armenian genocide. Where's Gray? I guess just okay. Go ahead. Did I say that? Turkey continues to deny the intent to eradicate Armenians. They claim it was not a genocide, but the results of actions of war and disease. From 32 to 33, the Holodomor was death of Ukrainians by intentional starvation by the Soviet Union, as it considered a genocide by many historians. The Holodomor has become way more famous since what? Nobody knew about it. I did not know about it. I've taught world history since 2008. Since the Ukrainian War. Since the Ukrainian War. Until this year, I did not know that the Holodomor happened. And did the kulaks make that happen? There weren't enough of them. There weren't enough of them by destroying their families and everything else. It literally was the Soviet system that said, send all of this food to the cities that was the main cause. But the kulaks destroying all their farms and pets and everything was certainly a reason. The Ukrainians protested Stalin's collectivization policies by refusing to meet government food quotas, which would mean their own starvation. Anti-collectivization in what region? It was part of the Soviet Union at the time, the Ukraine. The Ukraine refused to participate in this collectivization, and as a result, what? They are going to kill them. Stalin came to power after Lenin's death, inheriting a government that was still struggling to control an unwieldy empire. At a time when Stalin wanted to build a strong industrial base, they clung to their rural peasant traditions. At a time when he wanted to abolish private ownership of land, they refused to surrender their farms. In short, the Ukrainians have become a threat to the revolution. Especially who? The kulaks, the wealthy lords. Stalin's troops seized limited food supplies and seeds in the Ukraine. 2.5 to 7.5 million starved of starvation. Why the seeds? So you can't even do what in the future? You can't even make more food. Go ahead. And then the Holocaust. The Nazis killed 6 million Jews and 7 million political dissidents, dissenters, gypsies, Roma, homosexuals, and the handicapped. The Nazi policy regarding Jews represents a winding path that led eventually to the decision of mass extermination, aka the final solution. Do you remember, Gianni, why they came up with the concentration camps and then the showers, using showers to kill everybody?
They didn't want to waste bullets.
They don't want to waste bullets. And what about the psychological effects of their soldiers?
It's more like humane for the soldiers.
Of what?
It was more like humane way of killing them instead of just like brutalizing like shit.
It was too psychologically damaging to their soldiers. Not to the people they were killing. Their soldiers. It made them their hearts hurt. It made them psychologically damaged to kill them with guns or bullets or whatever else. So it's a gentler way also for the soldiers, not the people dying. So, Zyklon B, famously Zyklon B is used, the gas that's used in the concentration camps, extermination cells. And who put those people in there? Who got all the people into these showers? The Jews.
Well, they just.
Who took them out? The Jews. The Jews in the camp, actually what? Were the ones that did all of the work, even though they were killing other Jews. How'd they feel about that? When I was in Florida, we used to have Jewish Holocaust survivors come and talk, and one of those people was a guy that actually took them into the showers and then carried their bodies out. Everybody was like, you're just as much of a thug and a criminal as they are. And he said, and yet I am Jewish and I have 7 kids, 28 grandkids. What's he saying?
He lived.
I lived. I lived. I did what I had to do to survive, and now my line still continues. Other people, what? Their family line ended with the Holocaust. He said, you do what you do to survive. Did we talk about that, about the Argentina in the plane? Who knows the soccer team? Was it Argentina?
Oh.
The soccer team that crashed,
Yeah.
and then they ate each other? Do you remember? They didn't kill each other to eat them, but if somebody died, what? A little bit of that rump roast. Look at this. That's some good old rump roast right there. How many of you could do it? Who would eat other human beings to survive? I don't know if I could. Look, that's a lot of you. Paula? Paula's like, dig it in, baby. Dig it in. Dig it in.
Necessary.
To survive.
Yeah.
How many of you don't think you could necessarily do it? Listen, I eat like a child as it is. I'm going to have like a little bit of Alex. Like, I was like, I don't know about all that. Right? Meanwhile, Paula's like, bye.
I would enjoy it.
I know. So that's the whole point, is people do what they need to do to survive. I really don't know that I'd survive. I think I'm dead. I'm not. You're not gonna make it? I'm not gonna make it. I don't think I'm gonna make it. Yeah. Jews were a small and vulnerable minority in Germany and Europe, and it had long been used as scapegoats for all manner of social problems. Again, all the way back to 1350, we know what? The Black Death, that they blamed them for poisoning the wells in the Black Death and literally exterminated many, many, many Jews. Negative and hateful Nazi propaganda directed by Hitler had convinced Germans that Jews were an inferior and dangerous race. I don't think we have time, but in our future, I want to look up Holodomor, the Ukrainian kulaks. They have posters too against the Ukrainian kulaks, because what do we know? They said it's legal to do what? To exterminate them. So what do they make them look like? Terrible, horrible people. Hitler's secret police, the Gestapo, successfully silenced critics of his Jewish policies. Can you imagine? Look at them. It's a concentration camp. Everybody happy? Go ahead. The Nuremberg laws deprived Jews of German citizenship and required them to wear the yellow Star of David for identification. You have to know about the Nuremberg laws. There's three Nuremberg. Three Nuremberg things. It's also spelled Nuremberg, Nuremberg. The Nuremberg laws. Who knows about the Kristallnacht, the night of the broken glass? Did you guys read? Did you read Night? Yeah, Night talks about the Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass, when they start destroying Jewish synagogues and businesses, breaking the glass and destroying them. So right after that, all of this stuff happens. That's trying to show you how much Jew was okay or not okay, which means none. Nuremberg laws are 1935. 1935 Nuremberg laws. Then shortly thereafter, they're going to have Nuremberg rallies. What happened in the Nuremberg rallies? Have you seen them? The massive rallies with Hitler. Who's seen the whole Nazi rallies, that there was just tons, millions, hundreds of thousands. I think they said like 700,000 people, that they built stadiums big enough for 700,000 Nazis. All of them what? Heil Hitler at the same time? Unbelievable. And then the Nuremberg trials. Not you. Not you. Nuremberg trials. Nuremberg trials? 1945 or 46?
It was when Hitler got.
Hitler's dead.
Like, well,
Hitler's dead.
They put the Nazis on trial.
Put the Nazis on trial. They put the Nazis on trial. So thousands and thousands are killed? No. It's like 20, 25. All of the top big important people, but everybody else got to say what?
You're just following orders.
I was just following orders. Many Nazi guards, Nazi everybody. Killed people, destroyed them in Kristallnacht, kicked them, beat them, made them lick the pavement. All sorts of people that did that, what? Walked away. Walked away. Where did a lot of people go after? Where did Germans go? Argentina. A lot of Germans went to Argentina. And when we thought that Hitler might have survived, people believed he might have gone to Argentina. Do you know that there was a time that we weren't sure if Hitler actually had died? If he had actually killed himself? Okay, go ahead. The Nazis organized a campaign of violence against Jews called Kristallnacht, the night of the broken glass, which Jewish synagogues and businesses were targeted. Go ahead. When World War II began, the Nazis sought to answer the Jewish question. What to do with the Jews in a cost and effective and permanent way, which is called the final solution. If you didn't put that down, you have to put down the final solution. Final solution is a euphemism. What does this word mean, euphemism? What's a euphemism?
Like a shortened way to say it.
Somebody comes in to my classroom during my planning, brutally kills me, dismembers me, terrible, horrible things. And then you explain to somebody later, oh yeah, Miss Manwaring died today.
Like a way to downplay something?
It's a euphemism. It's just like she died. It's like, whoa, hold on a minute. Died is a very gentle way of saying what? She was obliterated. She was absolutely massacred, destroyed. So a euphemism, the final solution is a euphemism, just like, I guess, a way of downplaying. I guess that could be a good way to say it, of downplaying it, just a gentler way of saying something happened, right? A number of potential answers to the Jewish question were explored, such as ghettos and deportation. The Warsaw Ghetto is a famous one. Watch the movie The Pianist. It is such a good movie, The Pianist. It's about the Warsaw Ghetto. It's so good, you guys. Watch some of these movies on the weekend, some of these movies. How many people, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas? Definitely watch that. The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. The Pianist. I mean, gosh, there's so many good ones about the Holocaust. I can't think of all of them right now.
Did his son actually die like that? Like Hitler's son?
Hitler's son?
Yeah, from the boy in the striped.
I didn't know that had anything to do with Hitler's son. What does that mean?
Like the main character, the one.
Is it supposed to be Hitler's son?
Yeah, that's what the movie was.
Not Hitler's son. Just a concentration camp. The guy that ran the concentration camp, it was his son. It wasn't Hitler's son.
No, there was two. There was the boy in the camp. The boy in the camp and then the one.